favorite things about movies is the introduction of the character, whether it be the hero or the villain. And what makes or break a character is their introduction, at least in my opinion. And I've wanted to do this kind of video for a while now, and I decided that I'm going to do this video. It's about some of my favorite character introductions in film. I should have gotten more villain ones actually, but I'm kind of set on this list. So these are the character introductions that have meant a lot to me in film, or the ones that at least stand out. And if you have any character introductions in film that you remember fondly that aren't here, then please leave them in the comments. I would love to see which ones mean a lot to you or that you remember. So since I already reviewed this film fairly recently, I thought I'd just get it out of the way right now. Raiders of the Lost Ark, the introduction of Indiana Jones. I love it. I think this one might actually be my favorite, so we're getting my favorite out of the way right now. And I think we're saving my second favorite to last, I believe. I'm not sure. To give a brief introduction to the introduction of Indy and Raiders of the Lost Ark, they're going after a golden idol. You see the Paramount logo, and it fades to just a mountain. And Indy's leading an expedition to find the golden idol. And he has some guides who are behind him, which I get that you would think they'd be guiding him, but no, they're behind him. So I guess he knows where he's going. But you never see his face, and you pretty much always see the back of him. Sometimes his face is cut off when he's examining something, and he doesn't talk at all. He doesn't talk for probably a good 1 to 2 minutes, and the side characters are doing most of the talking while you hear John Williams' music and the ambiance around. But it's when we get to him that always had a lasting impact on me, where he's at the lake with Alfred Molina, and there's another guide who is about to take out a pistol and shoot Indy. And he hears the gun cock, and he takes out his whip. A lot of sexual innuendos in this video. And whips the guy's hand. The guy gets terrified, runs away, and out from the shadows you see into frame Indiana Jones' face. And I love that shot. That's one of my favorite shots, and the music going next to it is perfect. It's probably my favorite scene in the entire movie, and it's my favorite character introduction of all time. So there's not much else to say about it. I did go over it in the review for Raiders of the Lost Ark, so check that out. Next one, Dr. No, the introduction of Bond, James Bond. There's also not a lot to say about this because it's a poker game. I don't know much about poker. I don't know how to play poker, so I don't necessarily know what's going on, but it's an important introduction because it's the introduction of James Bond, who has a franchise that's still going to this day. This is the first one with Sean Connery, this is the first one with Theme, and they're playing a poker game, again obscured. And this is ironic because I go over this in my Raiders of the Lost Ark review. Sean Connery would play Indiana Jones' father in Last Crusade. There's this woman who's, again, forgive me, I don't know necessarily the fundamentals of poker, but they're playing a game of poker. And you don't see Bond's face for a while. You can hear him occasionally. She introduces herself and she says, "You're having a great stroke of luck, mister." And we cut to Sean Connery with the cigarette. The music starts to play that da, 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 James Bond theme. James Bond. And I believe he wins the game. Yes, he wins the game. And he has an aura of confidence to him as he walks away because he gets a card that he has to see someone. And the woman approaches him and kind of talks about how they kind of flirt with each other. And again, the aura of confidence in James Bond, where he just insinuates we should have breakfast, we should play a round of golf, we should get dinner. And he's just a smooth man. He's one of the best James Bonds. I don't know. That might be another video in and of itself, who's the best Bond actor. But that's a great introduction. The introduction of James Bond with the music playing a lot of the tropes of gambling and women and cigarettes, the theme again playing. It's just fantastic, and Sean Connery does make a great Bond, and it's historically important because it's the introduction of this franchise character. All right, the technically lone horror film of this, and the lone villain. It's Dracula, but I'm not necessarily going with the Bela Lugosi Dracula. I'm going with the Spanish version of Dracula. I've talked about the introduction previously on a podcast with Tag Movie Reviews about the introduction of the Spanish Dracula. And it's the Renfield character what I remember happening is a bat comes into frame and flies around Renfield. He ducks, and this is when no one's up at the staircase. The bat disappears. Renfield looks up and is shocked, and he sees Dracula up at the staircase, but it's not like a static shock like in the Lugosi version. The camera, I believe, dollies up the staircase, and right into frame is Dracula, and Yo soy Dracula. And it's just, I think I like this introduction because I've always grown up with the English-speaking Dracula film, and I thought it was okay for what it was, but comparing it to the Spanish-speaking Dracula was mind-blowing. The expansion of the story, the acting, while a little over the top, that's probably just because of my viewing sensibilities, is actually more animated, and that's really impressive. I think Joy Fry is great as Renfield, but the actor who plays Renfield in this version is even more animated, if you can believe it or not. Even the Dracula actor is more, when he gets enraged, I believe, instead of smashing box with his hand, the mirror box with his hand, he smashes it with a cane and it just shatters into a million pieces, and it's great. But back to the introduction. It just, introducing your villain is just as important as introducing your hero, and they do a great job. The lack of music also makes it really more creepy. I wonder what it would sound like with an orchestra. I don't know if the Spanish version of Dracula has an orchestral score to it, but it would be. I would love to see that. If someone knows, actually, I'll look it up. But if someone, in case I don't, if someone knows if there's an orchestral score to the Spanish Dracula, let me know in the comments. But yeah, the Spanish version of Dracula, the lone villain introduction of this list. This one is funny because of the behind-the-scene story behind it. Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I am the only member of my family who likes this movie. My parents don't like the book, they don't like the Gene Wilder one, they obviously don't like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I'm sure they won't like the new one that's coming out. But I love this film, and it's Gene Wilder. And there's a bunch of mystery surrounding who Willy Wonka is. And I think it's about an hour until you finally see him. Maybe it's a little less. But the world is watching. There's cameras everywhere. The children are ready to see Willy Wonka. And he comes out of the factory kind of with this stern look on his face, and is walking with a limp and a cane. And the round of applause stops, and you just hear the tapping of his foot and the cane. And he slowly makes his way to the gate, and he sticks the cane into the sidewalk itself and just stands there, and then he leans over and starts to what looks like fall, and then does a somersault and jumps up with a round of applause, and he's just jovial and happy. And I love that because, well, not only is it a great introduction, but the behind the scenes story of why Gene Wilder decided to do Willy Wonka is because of that scene. He said he wanted to do this because it makes people unsure of what to think of Willy Wonka. Can you trust him? Do you know what he's going to do? You can't suspect what anything Willy Wonka is going to do. And that's fascinating to me. That was the reason Gene Wilder decided to do Willy Wonka. That was his request to do that scene, and that the directors are probably thinking, oh, that's a little weird. But okay, we got Gene Wilder, because Gene Wilder was the main person they wanted for this role, and they're like, yeah, we got Gene, we'll let him do this scene. And it adds to the mystery of Willy Wonka. Can we trust him? I love it. Next one. This was hard. This is the one superhero introduction. There were a few ones to choose from, like Superman, Spider-Man, but I chose 89's Batman. There's been a lot of great introductions to Batman. Just specifically, I mean introduction to the Batman persona, not Bruce Wayne, although there are a lot of good Bruce Wayne introductions too. I actually kind of like the introduction of Bruce Wayne in Batman BVS, Batman vs. Superman. I like the introduction of Batman in the Nolan films, but this one, mostly for nostalgic reasons again, because this was the first Batman film I ever saw. And I like the first shot, it kind of is just an over-the-head shot where it's an animated Batman here on a rooftop and then descending down the stairs or whatever, or descending down the building. You just see him walk away. That part is not the best, but these two criminals who just committed a robbery are talking, and they're talking about rumors of the Batman. Is he real? Is he not? And while they're talking about this, Batman in the background descends like a supernatural deity or creature or whatever. And it's just, there's fog and shadow, and he slowly approaches them, and he just spreads his wings out, almost like he's flashing them. And then the action scene ensues. They first shoot him, and he falls down, and they think, oh, he's dead. They turn to run away, but then they hear him get up, and he's just, again, flashing them, and he starts to attack him. Which I always thought was interesting. If the bullets have no effect, why does he always just fall down? Maybe the force of the bullets do something, but he always plays dead, which is interesting to me. I like that. And he drags one of the guys and drags him over the edge, and holds him over the edge. And he basically threatens him. He doesn't punish them for their crime, or at least as far as we know. Actually, no, he doesn't. He does, because he leaves them, but somehow they get arrested. Does he scare them scare them so much they turn themselves? I don't know. Anyway, he threatens them, tells them to tell all their friends about him, and one of the guy he's threatening asks, "What are you?" In which Michael Keaton utters the immortal lines, "I'm Batman," which so many actors have done. Michael Keaton's not even the first actor to say, "I'm Batman." Adam West, I believe, has at least once said, "I'm Batman." But I think it's famous mostly for Michael Keaton, because he'll still say that from time to time randomly. But if I had to pick one superhero introduction, it would be 1989's Batman. Finally, this one is my second favorite, and this brings a lot of nostalgic memories back. Curse of the Black Pearl, the first Pirates of the Caribbean film. It's the introduction of Jack Sparrow. He's the main character for the most part. You could debate, I think, if Will Turner is the main character or not, because you kind of follow his journey throughout this, but Jack Sparrow is the main actor. The top lead actor is Johnny Depp, and top billed actor is Johnny Depp. And it's a kind of subverts expectations, like the Willy Wonka reveal, where you hear the triumphant music playing, and you see just, I believe it's the sails or the crow's nest, and Jack Sparrow is hanging on it, and I believe the sun is in the background. He's just holding on to the sails, and you hear this triumphant music, but then you realize something is off, because he looks down, he sees water in the ship, and he just jumps down. It's an adventurous kind of move, action scene kind of pose, whatever. And finally we get a wide shot, and the boat's this crappy little hunk of wood. It's very small. A lot of sexual innuendos in this episode. And he's just desperately trying to get the water out of the boat. And he finally makes it to Port Royal as the ship sinks. And I find it funny. The music is so triumphant, and this just pathetic man is coming off this pathetic boat as it sinks. And as it sinks, he just walks right off. And this sets the tone that Jack Sparrow is this bumbling idiot who's down on his luck. And it contrasts with, I like it also for multiple reasons. It contrasts with the ending of this film when he leaves on the Black Pearl, but it also contrasts to what should have been a trilogy, with the ending of Pirates 3, when he's stuck on the stupid, pathetic boat again, a different one, but that's how Pirates 3 ends. So I think from a trilogy standpoint, and both the ending of his character and the start of his character ending ending and beginning the same way is perfect. I'm not defending Pirates 3 for all of its faults, but I think this should have been just a trilogy. But the introduction to Jack Sparrow is my second favorite. For nostalgic memories, I didn't see Pirates of the Caribbean in theaters, but I did see it on home video, and I thought that it was the coolest thing that I'd seen. So yeah, these are all my favorite characters. Not all of them, there are others, but these are the ones that are off the top of my head, my favorite character introductions. Curse of the Black Pearl, 1989's Batman, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the Spanish version of Dracula, Dr. No, and Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you have a favorite character introduction in film, let me know. I would love to hear them. If you have any other suggestions on what kind of topics we can discuss, I really like the idea of ranking the Bond films. That might be a good one with a guest to have. Let me know in the comments as well, and I'll try to be getting out more content as soon as possible. I'm debating on doing more Obsessed Movie Man, or just slowly phasing it out into Behind the Projector. Critical and Cynical is all depending on Brandon and Tori's schedule. And yeah, that's all I have for right now. So until then, I'll see you guys later. Take care.